What's going on, ladies and gents? It is your boy Gamma, and this is
Juju.
Today we have a crazy story, fresh off the press. We're gonna hop right into this together. In case you haven't heard, the Haitian president was assassinated. Let's take a look at the news clip and then we'll give some feedback. So let's go ahead and roll this clip.
Proceeds now to the assassination of Haiti's president. Police announced overnight that they had killed 4 of the presumed assassins and captured 2 others as Haiti's first lady recovers this morning in a Miami hospital. Marcus Moore is there at Jackson Memorial with the latest. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, George, good morning. At last report, Haiti's First Lady was in stable but critical condition at this Miami hospital after Wednesday's attack, while back in Haiti, a violent operation unfolding to catch the president's assassins. Overnight, a deadly shootout in Haiti. 4 of the suspected assassins behind the slaying of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse killed after taking multiple police officers hostage. 2 other suspects were taken into custody, and officials say all 3 of the officers being held were safely released.
A lot of us are anticipating the next 24 to 72 hours at least to be quite volatile.
Haitian officials say the well-trained and heavily armed mercenaries ambushed the president and his wife in their own home at 1 a.m. Wednesday morning, killing the president. Hours later, the critically wounded First Lady, Martine Moïse, was flown to a Miami hospital for treatment, seen here in video from ABC affiliate WPLG.
It is a well-orchestrated attack.
The unknown attackers allegedly spoke Spanish and English and falsely claimed to be DEA agents when they stormed the president's home before vanishing into the night, leaving behind a horrific scene and a country thrown into chaos without a leader. Haiti's interim prime minister, Claude Joseph, now taking charge temporarily and calling for new elections.
When you take charge, you need to go forward with organizing elections so we can have an elected president.
President Biden reacting to the assassination.
We need a lot more information, but it's very worrisome about the state of Haiti.
Moïse had been ruling by decree for more than a year and was facing calls to step down amid political turmoil and unrest, along with criticism of his handling of the pandemic in a country where not a single COVID vaccine has been distributed. This morning, Haiti's international airport remains closed, and officials there declaring a state of siege for the country, while many of its people are still in a state of shock, trying to understand how this group managed to successfully storm the president's home and why. TJ.
All right, Marcus, thank you so much.
All right, guys, so that's all the information that we have as of now.
Right.
Very crazy, man. Like, this is probably the first time I have heard of a president being assassinated in my lifetime.
And
I know it does happen in other countries, maybe even, in the last 10, 20 years or more often than we know. But this is the first time I can really think of hearing something like this occur, right?
Right.
Of course, we all know about Kennedy, and we've heard of, even way before that, Lincoln, etc. But the reason why this is so shocking is, as you guys saw, they said that, there was a lot of turmoil for like the last, a year?
Yeah, about it, yeah.
And also, not a single vaccine was distributed to that country.
Right.
We don't know if that was the exact reason. I'm sure it was a lot of different reasons combined.
Right.
But, I just want to touch on a few things right off the bat. Like, when it comes to countries like this, right? Haiti is, considered probably a third world country. I hate using that term, but it is a very poor country.
Right.
Always been a lot of turbulence and turmoil within the government. And when you think of countries like that, often the authorities, or rather the high level officials, like government officials, they're living well above the poverty line.
That's true.
So you have those that are typical citizens. They're struggling, right? And this is the case, like I said, for almost any poor country. The normal citizens are struggling, they're starving, they're trying to find a way to make ends meet.
Right.
And then the presidents, the governors, the mayors, or whoever the elected officials are, they're not living in that same type of, turmoil. They're well above. And that often creates a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Where the citizens begin to look at the authority or the figures and say, wait a minute. You can't care about what we're going through because you're not living in it. You're way above that.
Right.
And the reason why I wanted to highlight that is when you think of America, a lot of people make more than the president's salary. You know, the president's
Well, yeah.
salary, what is it, 300,000? I think it's
Yeah,
maybe
it's
a little more,
yeah,
400,000. And yes, that's still a lot.
Yeah.
But in this country, there's so many wealthy people
Right.
that it doesn't really bother everyone. You know, some people
Right.
even feel, he can make that. He can make a little more. So we live in a country where there's enough balance in America. There's enough balance to not have its citizens go this far against just that one person or the president.
Right.
Whereas in Haiti and other countries like that, it's quite different because we've, in the Middle East, we've seen stuff like this,
It's such
right?
a huge imbalance.
Right, they
Yeah.
go directly against the top officials. They want them out of it. Something like this happened in Egypt not too long ago.
Right.
They're willing at any cost to remove leadership, and that's kind of what this is. This is, of course, the most extreme way to do it.
Right.
But it's crazy. I mean, what are you thinking about this? When you heard this news first hit, what were your thoughts?
Man, my first thoughts was that clearly there is motive, political or most likely political, behind it for this to even be carried out. I know usually when they want to remove someone, assassinate someone, they want to put someone else that they feel obviously is more suited for that position, right? But then at the same time, it could also be, foreign affairs. As far as for example, you talk about Haiti and its current state, right, in the world. And then who knows, what's really being played out behind closed doors, so to speak.
For example, in the news clip we just played,
Right.
it said that these suspects spoke English
And Spanish. Right.
not French or Creole,
Right.
which are the two common languages in Haiti.
In Haiti,
so
right.
yeah, it's just a lot of suspicion already.
Yeah.
as to how and why this occurred. Was it within the citizens that lived in Haiti, or was this a very highly orchestrated attack?
Right.
It's very hard to tell.
Because when they stormed in, they said that they claimed to be DEA, Drug Enforcement
DEA
Administration
agents, and I don't even know if they have such department in Haiti.
Right.
Each country has their own departments that handle things.
Right.
But DEA is common to America.
Right. That's common.
We have
to
the
America.
FBI, the CIA, DEA.
Right.
We know that Russia has the KB. Is it the KGB?
KGB, yeah.
Russia has the KGB.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
So every country has their own commissions or groups, and DEA clearly that's America. And so maybe they were under the pressures that Americans were there trying to help the president. Turns out that they just used that to get into the compound and infiltrate. And so it's so much around this, and I'm sure developments will happen later on. But that's your initial thoughts, right? It's just it's crazy.
It's
man.
loaded, man. Yeah.
Definitely like to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
What you guys are thinking. And again, it doesn't even matter in terms of who was president. A lot of times when the civilians, the citizens rather, are just going through extreme hardships, they can look at the top guys as the cause of it.
Yeah.
You're not, you're misplacing money, you're not distributing things in the proper manner, we're not able to find food and work, etc. There's so many, come on, man.
It could be that, right? And it could be the simple fact, keep in mind, Haiti, correct me if I'm wrong, is it's a independent country.
Right.
Meaning to say, it's not in cahoots or working with the U.S. or with the Europe.
Well,
right?
you see, Haiti has an interesting history. Yeah. It's one of those few countries, especially given that it's a black country.
Yeah.
It fought hard. For its independence.
Independence.
To be an autonomous country.
Yeah.
Now, in recent years, when you think of Haiti, what do you think of? You think of poverty.
Yeah.
War. You think of violence. You think of so much negative things.
So much.
And they've and I heard one of the officials actually make a statement and say that they've become a country of beggars. They're begging their own government for everything, for food, for assistance, for health, for help. And so it goes against the very thing they stood tall for during the formation of their government. So it's a lot of craziness happening in that
corruption.
country. And this is, to me, the height of it, because every time you hear Haiti, right, it's always something extreme, like an earthquake,
right,
famine, you
right.
know, some devastation, and then like no one talks about it, and then now the president has been assassinated. So if you're Haitian and you're watching this video, we would definitely love to hear your feedback.
Absolutely.
If you're someone that just travels a lot and you're familiar with the dynamics that are occurring in Haiti, you're familiar with the government, the systems down there, leave a comment. You know, we definitely would love to hear it. But
absolutely,
really sad news, man. We'll try to do a follow-up as we get more information on this. Yeah,
absolutely.
But, yeah, just wanted to cover it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are. Sad day in Haiti.